Hello, Informed Crows. My name is John, and I'm telling you all about my hype list for Halloween Horror Nights. This is for all the scare zones, the shows, the houses, all that good stuff. I'm going to tell you all about that in this video. And here's my friend Lil Boo to accompany me for this hype list. So today I'm going to be telling you my hype list for Halloween Horror Nights, and it's going to be for Halloween Horror Nights Orlando at the Universal Orlando Resort in Florida, and it's going to be so much fun. I'm going to go with friends, and there's so much to see. This event is jam-packed this year. There's so much. There's 2 shows, 10 haunted houses, and 4 scare zones and 2 street experiences. So there's a lot to experience this year. So I'm going to start with my hype list for the haunted houses, and I'm going to break it up into original houses, the ideas they came up with themselves, the creative development team with Laura Sauls and Michael Aiello and all those great people. And then the intellectual properties that are bringing to life, like the movies and TV shows that you have loved and embraced and like that culture and have a whole fan culture around. They are bringing those properties to life. 5 select few. And I'm going to tell you my most hyped from number 1 to 5 for that, for the intellectual property house as well, and the scare zones. So lots of good stuff. The scare zones usually are a mix of intellectual property originals, but this year every single one is an original, so that is very fun. So now I'm going to tell you my hype list for the original haunted houses the creative team came up with. Like I said, Laura Sauls and Michael Aiello and all those great people. So many talented people there. Charles Gray, all those very talented, nice people. So number 1 for me will be El Artista, A Spanish Haunting. Massive shout to Ramon for writing this story and heading on this project, and it sounds like he has a lot of time and effort put in this house and has a lot of passion with it, and I'm going to love it. I know I will. I've heard that the set design is awesome. It ties into the whole backstory of the year this year for Halloween Horror Nights 34 of the conservatory, and you have to go in there and see the torture artist, and it's going to be so cool, and he has to work with these different artwork, and first he goes there to try to get inspiration, and he starts painting, and then it starts getting really twisted and messed up because there's evil ghosts in there, and he starts making these evil different paintings, and it starts bringing him into the paintings, and it's so surreal and bizarre, and there's going to be all these Pepper's ghost effects, and they're going to try to have effects where it looks like ghosts are going through walls, and I'm so freaking excited for this. It sounds awesome. Job well done to Ramon for the Spooky Empire panel. I watched that on YouTube and I was so excited for it. And they bring out the main character with that, and oh man, it's so interesting. I cannot wait to see it. I cannot wait to see Sergio, your tortured artist, and see all the madness that happens in this house. I'm so excited for it. Number 2 for me for the originals will be Dolls Let's Play Dead. And the reason why this is so high on my original hype list, the original houses, is going to be forced perspective. So through the entire haunted house, you are going to be the size of a doll going through a massive environment because you are doll-sized in a normal environment of the world. So everything is going to be larger than life. They already have the facade out. It looks like this creepy dollhouse front with the name of the logo, Dolls Let's Play Dead, painted on there. And you have to go in. It's going to be one of the 10 houses, and you're going in there, and it's going to be very, very creepy for sure. It's going to be all about this evil girl that has burned dolls and stitched them together and just painted all these creepy characters, and I'm very excited to see how they approach this. And number 3 for me will be Hatchin' in Chains, and it's going to be the Demon Bounty Hunters. This was actually a section of Slaughter Cinema 2 last year at the event, and this year they're bringing that all to life. The whole entrance facade to it looks like a western town, and they have this well, and it looks really awesome from just the facade. And when you go in there, I bet there's just going to be so much fun to be had, and going in saloons and all the bank and all kinds of great western environments, but then throw in the Demon Bounty Hunter angle where they have to be finding these demons, and it's going to be incorporated with lava and like lava demons because they're going with hell, and it's going to be insane. I know it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be one of the fun houses of this year where you get a false sense of security with the fun element, and then there's going to be great scares in there, good startle scares, so I'm very excited to see that. And then number 4 for me will be Galkin, the Monsters of the North. This sounds very interesting. They definitely have hyped this up and said there's going to be larger-than-life puppets in there and different characters. There's going to be these different characters from the north. They're going to have all these different evil ghouls and monsters and this wolf that's coming after you. And there is so much rich lore there, and they're going to talk all about it, and they're going to have all these great sound pieces with it, and set design is going to be larger than life, and this is going to be one of the colder houses, I'm assuming, because of the artwork for the house, and it looks really fun. I'm very curious to see how they pull this off for sure. So lastly for me for the original houses will be the Grave of Flesh. And this house starts out with your funeral, and then you're buried in the ground. So you start with that, and then that will take you to the underworld, and you get to meet the skinwalkers, which are these just absolutely just gross, grotesque creatures. So next part of the hype list are going to be the intellectual properties. And the one I'm most excited for is Terrifier. It's going to be based off of all 3 movies, the first one, the second one, and the third. So the original Terrifier is very gritty and gross, and you see the backstory of Art and how he starts tormenting these girls, and Dawn and Tara, and all kinds of absolutely insane things happen, and oh man, it's absolutely insane what happens in that movie. And the classic hacksaw kill is, wow, it's just one of the most gruesome kills you'll see in a horror movie, and how shocking it is. All of a sudden it happens, and it's crazy. So obviously they're going to recreate that, and then they're going to recreate the funhouse elements of Terrifier 2. And you're going to go in there and go to the clown cafe. You're going to encounter the pale girl from the second movie. That's going to be creepy, little pale girl. And of course, you're going to experience Art, where he's really messed up, and he's like making these trick-or-treat buckets out of people's heads and all kinds of gruesome kills. Of course, the bedroom kill. Oh my gosh, that's insane with the salt. And wow, that was absolutely insane. Inspired by real life from Jack the Ripper, which is insane. So that'll be very interesting to see. And they're also going to have the Santa version of Art the Clown from Terrifier 3 in there, where he ruins Christmas in the best way imaginable. The first scene scared people so bad and grossed them out in the theaters, they actually left. When I saw it in theaters, some people actually left the theater after the first scene because how grotesque and insane it is, and the bar, the level it crosses. It's just insane. You'll have to see it for yourself if you haven't seen it yet. And I know that some people, this isn't their cup of tea for the Art movies, for Art the Clown with Terrifier, because they are very gross. They are very over-the-top practical effects of all these crazy kills and how much and more insane they can get every movie. And they already are making the 4th one. So, and there's going to be lots of water effects in this house. There's actually going to be an ending of the house where you can go to a dry side and a wet side. And they're joking a lot in the marketing that you need to go through the poncho. And I am just so excited to see this all come to life and see Vicky in there all messed up and being insane. And I am absolutely stoked for this house. I really enjoy the Terrifier movies, and I can't wait to see this house. I know I'm going to love it. And then my second would be Jason Universe, with the I and the E with the 1 and the 3, like Friday the 13th. And I am very excited for this because it's going to be a best of house where they're going to have the best kills from Jason Voorhees from all the movies in this house, and also a teaser to the new Jason with the new hockey mask. So it's going to be a mix of everything there. So I'm very curious to see how this turns out. I already know from seeing different teaser pictures of the posters and stuff that I am very curious to see this new version of Jason, the new mask, and of course see all the original kills. So definitely excited for that one. A house that people have been asking for a very long time, and there's a very die-hard cult-like following of, is Five Nights at Freddy's. And I am excited for this. I played the 3rd game when I was younger and watched videos of people getting scared of it. The first 2, I played the 3rd game with Springtrap, and I think the farthest I got was like day 3. I think I made 2 days, and the 3rd day I died almost immediately. So definitely a creepy game, and I totally understand why they're making a house out of this. And they are good friends with Blumhouse, and they're working with them to use the property with Scott Five Nights at Freddy's and basing it off the first movie. And I'm pretty sure it's based solely on the first Five Nights at Freddy movie from Blumhouse. And they're going to have Jim Henson make the puppets and the costumes for them. So you know it's going to be out of this world, really well done. And there's so many things they can pull from this and make it creepy and over the top. And I am very stoked for this. It's going to be so much fun with the puppets and the oversized characters, but then also really good jump scares and startle scares, because that false sense of security, be like, oh, I'm in a pizzeria. Look at all these fun, nice signs and the neon signs of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and all the different signs. And then boom, you have Foxy coming after you, or all these different characters, or, you know, Bonnie and Freddy and all these different characters. Chica, like, she's one of the most terrifying characters. So, like I said, Foxy, all those different characters, Mr. Cupcake, so all that good stuff is going to be in there. I am very excited to see this. And then number 4 for me would be the Horrors of the Wyatt Six, presented by WWE. It's their intellectual property. And if you don't know about them, RIP to Bray Wyatt. And he completely built this whole backstory and all these creepy characters around the Firefly Funhouse, and all his followers were the Fireflies, and the crowd would turn their lights on and show it because he'd come out in the dark, and he had this lantern and he'd blow it out, and he'd always say, "Let me in." And he had Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, and then eventually he then turned into the Fiend and had help with Tom Savini to create that character with the mask and all kinds of great stuff with that. And he had a custom title made for it, and then he ended up having Alexa Bliss be part of it, and now his brother has continued the legacy of the Firefly Funhouse, and now it is called the Wyatt Six. And they have all kinds of crazy characters in there, and Eric Rowan is still part of it, and there's other characters in there as well, and there's these creepy pigs and all these different characters. It's very unsettling, so I am very excited to see how they bring this to life. And Michael Aiello and Ramon are massive WWE fans and love the Firefly family. They actually talked about it on social media years ago with Bray Wyatt about how they wanted to bring this into a house, so I know they're going to put their heart and soul into making this really good quality, and they're working with Uncle Howdy, Bray Wyatt's brother in real life, and they're going to knock this out of the park. I know they are, and I know a lot of professional wrestling fans are very excited for this and going to bring them to the event this year, so hopefully they enjoy Halloween Horror Nights. And lastly for me, for the intellectual property houses, will be Fallout. I've started to watch the series. As of the recording of this video, I've watched one episode of the Amazon series, and I find it interesting. I never played the games, but some of my friends really enjoy and say they're really well done. I know from Fear and Beer, they gave me some background of that. I watched their homework video, so I'll have that link below, and that helped me learn about the storyline, some of the characters, and it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be a cool house. I think it's going to be more of a just breathtaking house where you go through and the sets are just really well done. You're like, wow, look at that environment I went to. Look at that vault I went into. Like, I think it's going to be more interesting than scary. I might be completely caught off guard and go through and like, wow, that was terrifying. But I think it's going to be more of a fun house and more of just breathtaking, like, wow, look how immersive this environment is. They really brought me into the story, but just not essentially really scary to me. Like the Goldberg kind of character that seems more goofy to me than scary. So I'm very curious to see how they bring it all to life in person. So that is my final one for the intellectual property houses. Then for Scarezones, my number 1 will be the Cat Lady of Crooked Lane. And if you watched any construction updates, they have added so many props to this. They built an entire house just for her at the end of that whole area, the Central Park area. They brought back the pumpkins to that scare zone. They're all up in the tree, strung up, and they're going to glow, and it's going to be so beautiful at night, and I can't wait to see that. And they're going to bring all these trick-or-treaters and change them into evil cat-like monsters, and there's massive hairballs at some point. There's like a mini scare zone, like a mini scare area where you go through, and they have all these like broken glass. Obviously it's fake, but it looks like broken glass. You go past and they have all these branches and this theming, and you have to go through there, and there could be different characters coming at you there, and they have all these oversized hairballs and all these oversized cat toys and the yarn and all these different things they've collected over the years of all the clothes and the children's toys, and there's oversized bottles of milk in there. Like the attention to detail is out of this world, and the vine work and what they have with the vine work and the leaves and just the detailing. It's just incredible. And the massive storybook pages they have that tell you about the storyline with the Crooked Lane. And it just seems so awesome. I cannot wait to experience this. I know they're going to knock it out of the park. My second most hyped zone will be the Origins of Horror. It's going to be the first zone you go into, the introductory zone. It's going to bring you into the conservatory, and they're going to have homages to different IPs that are going to be at the event and different characters, ranging from oversized crows to gargoyles, and I am very excited for this. It sounds very cool. What's awesome about it is they actually are extending this zone farther than they have for a long time into the Minion section, the Illumination section, Entertainment section. So it's even longer this year than the Scare Zone has been for the past previous years. So I'm very excited to experience that. So that looks really cool. Lots of really beautiful set pieces in there with the broken glass where you feel like you're going into the conservatory, and it looks really neat. I'm very excited to see that. Next up for me would be the Hollywood section with Masquerade, Dance with Death, and lots of beautiful set pieces in there of these different stages with all these candles, and they have lots of props covered up. So usually when they have those props covered up, it means there's prop bodies under there. So lots of cool gore effects we're in store for. And lots of people, including me, are convinced they're going to have mobile things they're going to wheel in every night, and it's very cool. They have lots of great set pieces in there, and I'm expecting really good quality costuming and the vampires coming after you, and it's going to be a fun time for sure. So definitely hyped for that. Next up for me would be the Toxic 20s. This is the last official Scare Zone, and this is in the Mummy section, the New York section, and they have a lot of new set pieces in there, ranging from this newsstand telling you about it and telling you about the toxic spill from BuzzCon, and they have this truck there where it looks like this truck has hit this car, and they have the barrels in there where it says BuzzCon on it, and all kinds of fun theming there. Lots of different set design in there, and it's all like rusted and gross with the toxic waste, and I am very excited to see the character design, how these characters actually look with the costuming, and because it's a mix of the mobsters and BuzzCon, and it's going to be so much fun. I know that's going to be a good zone. It's always one of the best every year because it has such a big section. There's so much to see in there, so that's going to be a great time. There's going to be 2 street experiences this year. The one I'm more excited for is Mel's Die-In Zombies. So it's going to be outside of Mel's, and every year for Halloween Horror Nights, they turn out some of the lights on the sign. It says Mel's Die-In. They have all this good merch this year about it, and they're going to have some roller skating zombies in there, and very curious to see how they pull that off. And the last street experience, the second one will be Club Horror. That's going to be more of a party zone of like a nightclub, but horror themed. So it should be interesting to have this massive truss up there with all these laser lights and all these different lighting fixtures on there where it looks like it's going to strobe and all that kind of cool stuff. And they have this stand where a DJ can be. So it's going to be more of the party zone. Just go there and have some fun. So I definitely think the Scare Zone, the Cat Lady on Crooked Lane is going to be my favorite. And then I think Club Horror will be more of something I just walk through because I just happen to be going through a house. Or going to another Scare Zone, I just happen to walk through that one. I might end up loving it, but it's at the bottom of my list right now out of all the Scare Zones and the street experiences. So that was the Haunted Informer. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get a notification every single time I put up a new video. Give this video a thumbs up and share with your friends. And I'm on social media, and you can find all those links below. And tell me, what are your most anticipated lists? Tell me your most anticipated house, Scare Zone, show, all that good stuff. Food Boost, they're starting to show teasers of that. The Firefly Funhouse and Fallout and all kinds of great stuff. So tell me all about it in the comments below. And as always, happy hauntings.